The rise of Airbnb and other online accommodation startups has led analysts to say that the multi-billion-dollar hotel industry is being disrupted. Yet the hotel chains maintain they have nothing to fear from these digital groups. Are they right? And if there is a threat, how are they dealing with it? To discuss this with me is Murad Ahmed, European technology correspondent for Financial Times. So Murad, who is challenging the big hotel groups?
Well, Airbnb, as you suggested, and a whole host of other startups. There's a group called Love Home Swap, which based in London, and they allow you to swap holiday homes, essentially. Yeah, you want to stay at their home, they want to stay at yours. You can do that. There are other Airbnb imitators, like One Fine Stay, which allow you to stay in very high-end homes. So there's a whole load of companies out there. And for a long time, the hotel groups have said, we don't need to really worry about that too much. It's just creating new demand that wasn't already there. They're satisfying that. But it doesn't really fit together that well. Analysts say that these guys are going to come and eat the hotel industry's lunch.
But we are seeing occupancy rates at record levels, revenue rates per room at record levels. Can these two industries really not exist side by side? Aren't these new guys just tapping, previously sort of, new sort of supply, new sort of demand, a different market, if you will?
I think there's some truth to that, but there is going to be a point where they very clearly compete with each other. So at the early days of Airbnb were clearly the adventurous traveller wanting a very different experience. But now they're doing all this kind of brand advertising on television, and they're trying to reach a mass audience. So that's automatically going after people who would normally stay in hotels. And the other thing that Airbnb are eyeing up right now are the business traveller. They've done this deal with Concur, the expense management business, so that you can, if you're a business traveller, you can expense easily and stay with Airbnb. And that's a dead giveaway that they're looking at the huge mass market. And the moment that Airbnb start looking at the mass market, the hotel chains have to think of ways to respond.
So what is the hotel industry trying to do to respond?
The proactive stuff are things like investing in startups. So the companies I mentioned earlier, Love Home Swap and One Fine Stay, both have had small investment from established hotel groups along the way. Then there are people like Intercontinental Group who are trying to do some digital initiatives, such as do online travel guides with a company called Stay.com based in Oslo. So there's things like that. That's proactive stuff. They're trying to move over to the digital world. Secretly, there's the other stuff, which is lobbying about regulations and trying to tie up the likes of Airbnb in red tape. But I mean, Malcolm, you cover the hotel industry. You must see some movement from them and them trying to adapt as well.
Yeah, well, certainly on the sort of regulatory side, it is the case that you don't have to fulfill the same sort of regulations if you're an Airbnb host, and they've been saying that's not fair. On the technology side, people like Intercontinental are also trying to funnel people towards their own websites rather than going through third-party booking agents. And then you're seeing a lot more technologies, I guess, inside the hotels. Keyless entry, the new peninsula in Paris. You can watch the chef prepare your steak on your iPad in your room. I don't know how many guests are going to go for that, but it's something that they're trying to do. And then finally, they're sort of tinkering around with the concept of what it means to be a hotel room. We've seen companies like Yotel, for example, where you can just stay for 4 hours. You may be on a layover between flights, pop into your airport Yotel, just stay there for a little bit of time. You might not want to stay a whole night, so they're sort of playing around with formats, sizes of rooms, experiences. Should rooms be bigger or smaller? So, family rooms for apartments. So, they are definitely responding in ways to this sort of evolution in the market.
Yeah, I think there's definitely scope for them to be side by side, the hotels and room accommodation type companies to be side by side. But I think what's going to be interesting over the next year or so, year to 5 years, is when they actually start competing for the same customer, how they're going to respond with different strategies. So it'll be an interesting area.
Okay, Murad, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much.